Turn that mic is recording. Okay. What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. I'm Fishing with Ty, and no, this is not a podcast. I'm just going to be using this space today to talk a little bit about a story, I guess you could call it. I'm going to narrate a story for you guys. A cool fish catch, and as you guys can tell from the title, an invasive species. So yeah, it's a very interesting story actually. I'm going to start out by giving you guys a little bit information. This species originated in Eastern Asia around China, Russia, and Korea, and it has now somehow found its way over to the US. I forget when the first sighting was of this fish, but they've been here for a little bit of time. And I'm just going to start right off the bat by saying that this invasive species is a snakehead. The world record snakehead is a whopping 19.9 pounds, which is only a little less than 3 pounds shy of the world record largemouth bass. This fish was 35 inches in length and was shot and killed near a creek in Charles County, Maryland, which is basically where they kind of originated from, I guess you could say. I'll pop up a map right here so you guys can check out. Actually, Carl's Bait and Tackle just posted this on their Instagram literally like the day after I caught this fish, which was pretty hilarious. Thought it was a little bit of a coincidence, but as you guys can see there, a lot of these fish are in Maryland and Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, in that range, and a couple other sightings in some other states around the country. But anyways, let's get right into it. I'm gonna start talking and actually narrating the story. That's all really the main information I had to give you guys on the background of the snakehead, a little bit more later. But yeah, let's get right into the story. So basically, the other day I was out filming a video. It's actually a previous video that I had posted, so if you guys haven't seen that, go check that out. But this was the night of that, I filmed that video, and then that night went back out. But after I filmed that, I went home, and my cousin and my uncle were staying over for the night because my cousin had a baseball tournament down by us, so they slept over. And we decided that after it was dark, we actually went out fishing for an hour, just real quick, because it was like pitch black outside. And my sister, my cousin, and I all went over to the pond to fish real quick, just for, like I said, about an hour, see if we could catch something. Why not? After working our way around the pond, we approached the final stretch of the bank to fish, and before we were gonna head out and head back home. I should probably also mention that I did not have my GoPro with me, which sucks, so none of this is on video. Yeah, sorry. But anyways, I was flipping a Texas rig crawl with a 3/16 ounce bullet weight and a peg, which is honestly, probably one of my favorite baits to throw anyways. Aside from that and a jig, like the flipping and pitching bite is so much fun. And not to mention that, there are a lot of other ways too. You can catch snakehead. It doesn't just have to be on a Texas rig, but that is one good way. You can catch them because they'll eat just about anything. But anyways, I made a cast, I believe it was to my right by some brush and some timber and stuff. And before this, I never knew that there were snakehead in this pond, they can travel, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, but like I've been fishing at this pond for 3 to 4 years now, occasionally, and I've never caught a snakehead in there before. It's only been bass, catfish. I've heard of carp and stuff, but never a snakehead. So it definitely took me by surprise. Anyways, my bait sank to the bottom, and the second, I went for that first little hop, I felt a huge tug. Like it was instantly like kind of the bite that like almost takes the rod out of your hand type of thing. Like my rod just went doink. And there's a lot of weight obviously on the end of my rod, and the first thing that comes to mind is it's a fish. It doesn't feel like a log. That's a bite. You know what a bite is versus a log, and especially when it's just sitting there, it was definitely a bite. So obviously I hook set. What else would I do? The second I hook set into that fish, I knew it was big, and I kid you not, this fish flew in the air like a few feet. I don't think I've ever seen a freshwater fish jump that high. And it was pitch black out, so all I see is the shadow come splashing out of the water and fly into the air. And there's so many things going through my mind right now. First of all, I've never seen a bass do that. The second thing was, this could be my PB bass. Third thing was, maybe it's a catfish, because it's big, it's heavy, it's fighting real hard. And I don't know, there's not a ton of like huge bass in there, but I knew it was a big fish. So those were a few of the things that crossed my mind, but there was never the thought that this is a snakehead. Again, like I said, I've never caught one out of here. So I'm reeling this thing and it's fighting, and it's started taking me into some of that brush and timber, and I'm like panicking. I'm like, I gotta get this thing in. So luckily, I'm using a 7'6" heavy rod with 20-pound fluorocarbon, so I'm able to muscle that fish out, which is honestly super clutch. I would highly recommend heavy fluorocarbon and a heavy rod for flipping and pitching. I've made videos about that, or you can just search up online, the best rod for flipping and pitching. I'll bet you'll find videos, on good sized rods and whatnot to use in this situation. But anyways, I was kind of freaking out because I pulled this fish up on the shore, and I think I didn't really boat flip it. It was more of like pull it out of the water and drag it up on the shore because it's a big fish. I'm like, I don't know what this thing is. But anyways, when I pull it up, with the moonlight and stuff, I can barely make out just the figure of the fish. You can tell that the fish is a skinny and long fish, and I'm like, that's not a bass. I'm like, there's no way that that's a bass. So I'm like, maybe it's a catfish. But then also, the one thing that did cross my mind was snakehead, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, there's no way this is a snakehead. Like, I've never even heard of one coming out of here. I didn't know they were in here. But we pulled out the flashlight, and what do you know, it was a damn snakehead. And I'm looking at this thing on the ground, and I'm like, holy moly. I'm like, that is giant. I'm like, I never knew there was a snakehead in here. And then my first one that I pull out of there is huge. My uncle actually caught one about a year ago. We were at a different pond close by too, man, like only about 2 miles away from my house. And this pond's also like a mile away from my house. So not very far apart, only a few miles apart, these ponds. And yeah, he caught one out of there. Not as big a size. I'd say probably about 2.5 pounds. But yeah, that's how it went. So anyways, I'm going to start talking. Let's roll the clip because we did film a little bit. I had my cousin film me talking about this fish a little bit and the fish catch. So let's roll that clip, and yeah, I'll let you guys watch that.
All right, YouTube, look at this thing. This right here is a snakehead. I'm sorry, my scale is not working. I want to weigh this thing. Just to let you guys know, legally, we do have to kill this fish, sadly. I hate killing fish, but legally, we do have to kill this thing. It's huge, man. I mean, I don't know how much this is. Again, my scale's not working, so, I mean, we're going to have to bring it home anyways. I can see if I can maybe run over Ryan's house, get his scale, because I know his works. But we'll try to get a scale to weigh this thing. But I'm guessing this thing is probably 6 pounds, 7 pounds, maybe. I doubt 7. I'm going to guess about 6, but it's heavy. And, I mean, look at the stomach on that fish. But they are an invasive species, and if you do catch one, you're legally supposed to kill one. So we are going to kill this fish. I'm not going to, like, show it on camera and stuff. When I hooked into this fish, the first thing that hit my mind was this is my personal best bass. These things fight so hard. They have so much power, especially for, like, I mean, come on, like getting like a 6 or maybe 6.5, 7 pound snakehead, like, and something that fights like twice as hard as a bass does, like, oh my gosh, I thought I had an absolute giant on, and turns out I did. Oh my gosh. Thanks to Carl for filming. I don't know what the hell just happened. I'm still in shock as to this thing. Maybe this could be like a state record. I don't know if I've ever seen like a 6.5 pound snakehead pushing 2 feet, so. We'll go weigh her. I'll let you guys know what the weight is when we get home and stuff. And yeah, I'll see you guys back at the crib.
Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that little clip. As you can see, it was very dark out, and we were just, at the pond, and I'm holding this giant snakehead. I'm like, I got a fish and whatnot. But anyways, by state law, we were sadly, required to kill that fish. They are a very invasive species, and only some states require you to kill them. Not every state, I'm pretty sure. But mainly because of the fact that they are super aggressive and strong, and they eat just about anything that swims or that's in the water. I mean, they are super powerful, super aggressive, and they will eat anything. I mean, these things got jaws. They've got really thick, hard skulls. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I'm actually running on a time limit here because my camera is almost out of memory. I forgot that I had a 10-minute mark, so I honestly don't know where I left off. They demolish anything. They got teeth, super strong jaws, like a rock-solid head, and they don't have any predators. I mean, nothing really eats them because they're so dominant and stuff, so they just multiply, which is why, they require you to kill them, because they're killing bass, they're killing catfish, carp, whatever, just about anything. Another thing real quick is that snakehead can also last a few hours out of water, which is pretty crazy. Most fish can only last maybe 5 to 10 minutes depending on the fish. Especially bass, they can probably only last about a total of maybe 5 minutes. Snakehead can be out of the water for a few hours, and they use this time to travel from body of water to body of water And this obviously can be bad because now there's snakehead multiplying and spawning and whatnot, and they can go just about anywhere because they literally move like snake. They just slither. I mean, when I pulled that fish up and we were just sitting there trying to figure stuff out and whatnot, I mean, that thing started to slither back into the water. Obviously, I had him on my rod. I'm like, you're not going anywhere. But yeah, that's what happened. So anyways, I wanted to weigh this fish, obviously. I'm like, this thing is big. It's giant. I'm guessing it's close to 6 pounds, if not over. And I was like, I got to weigh this thing. And my freaking scale will not work. My scale will not turn on. I'm like, this is really annoying. So I'm like, all right, we got to kill the thing anyways. Called my dad up. He came over, and we actually put the fish in a cooler. We killed the fish, first of all, and then we put him in a cooler, and we brought him back to the house to weigh him because Ryan's scale is actually at my house in the boat. So I'm like, all right, we'll use Ryan's scale because his is going to work. Yeah, we used that. So let's roll the clip real quick of me weighing the fish.
Where's the scale reading?
Yeah, 6'4". 6'4".
Yeah, we were using.
All right, anyways, as you guys saw, 6.4 pounds. I don't know if I mentioned it in that clip, but it was 29 inches long. As I said earlier, these fish can get up to 35 inches long. Like I said, the world record is 20 pounds. So they do get pretty dang big and pretty fat. But yeah, I mean, a 29-inch snakehead is pretty solid. And yeah, 6.4 pounds. That's the biggest freshwater fish I've ever caught. My PB bass is only 5 1/4, which we're looking to, hopefully break as soon as possible, obviously, as it always is. That's always the goal. But yeah, anyways, I've been talking a lot. I know it's been a lot of information and whatnot and not a lot of video clips, but I just want to thank you guys for sticking around and watching. And if you made it to the end of the video, thank you. Make sure to drop a like, a comment, if you want to share any information about snakehead or just have any questions or something like that. Yeah, make sure you guys stay tuned for the next video. Thank you again. Let's roll the outro, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.
Oh, going.